Hi viewers, in this video I'm going to explain you the purpose of suspense account and when it is prepared and how do we close it. So remember that the suspense account is prepared after the trial balance has been finalized. And if in a trial balance, this is how a trial balance will look like. This is the credit side and the debit side. Now the balance of the suspense account, whether it is going to be a debit balance or a credit balance, it all depends on the trial balance. If the trial balance, total balance on the debit side is, for example, £1,500 and the credit side is £500, for example, that means the credit side is smaller and therefore we will temporarily, that's important to understand, we will open a suspense account for on a temporary basis, and we will write suspense and we'll write 1,000 over here just to balance the trial balance. Now you can see both the sides are equal, but we have a suspense account and we have to close the suspense account. And as you can see that I have entered £1,000 on the credit side. Therefore, this £1,000 will be appearing in my suspense account on the credit side. And vice versa, if my credit side is £1,500 and my debit side is 500, that means I need to temporarily open a suspense account, write £1,000 in the debit column to make it 1,500, and in my suspense account ledger I will be entering this £1,000 on the debit side, because you can see that the 1,000 is in the debit column. Therefore I will be recording the 1,000 on the debit side. So let's go through an example in which I will show you that there is an opening balance of suspense account, and then there is a difference in the trial balance, and then how do we go through those errors in the accounts, how do we rectify those errors and enter the figures in the trial balance, and then close the suspense account. And at the end, the suspense account, both the sides will be equal. Remember, there will be no brought down and carried down balances in the suspense account. Okay, let's have a look at this question. You can also take a picture of this question so that you can look at your mobile and you can follow the question. But I will be scrolling the page up and down because I have to go through this question, and I'll highlight the information. Zoe drew a trial balance for her catering business at the financial year end. The credit exceeded the debit by £2,460. So we now know that the credit side is bigger and the debit side is smaller, and the credit side is £2,460 bigger. Therefore, we will open a suspense account and we will write 2460 on this side in the debit column. That means in my suspense account, TB stands for trial balance, and I will write 2460 on the debit side. Remember, this is the debit side and this is the credit side. Next, it says Zoe posted the difference to the suspense account, which already had a credit balance of £5,000. Okay, so we are told that there is already an opening balance of £5,000. Now I will write the details behind it, but let me read the question. It says this represents proceeds from the sale of car. Okay, so we can now write some details behind it. Sale of car. And then it says, she passed her books of accounts to her friend, Adriana, to see if she could locate the difference. Adriana noted the following during the course of her investigation. Now, the first thing is, this £5,000 is an opening balance already sitting in the suspense account. So we need to adjust that. Now remember that when we sell a car and we have to pass the disposal entries, we have to open a disposal account and we have to record the cash received in the disposal account. So the entry we will be passing is, I'm going to record it over here. Number 1. When we receive cash, the cash is debit by what amount? £5,000. And the disposal account should be credit. The disposal account should be credit by 5,000. But it says that there was a balance sitting in the trial balance of £5,000, which Zoe has already recorded. That means the cash has already been recorded, but she did not know where else to record. So she debited the cash account, but credited the suspense account, which means that our cash account is okay. So we do not have to write cash over here. Instead, we will have to replace the cash account with a suspense account. So then now the double entry is suspense account debit and disposal account is credit. So I'll repeat, when Zoe sold the car, she recorded the cash, but she did not know which other account should be credited, so she recorded it in the suspense account. So now what we are doing is we are removing the balance from the suspense account by debiting the suspense account and crediting the disposal account. Therefore, we will write over here disposal. Disposal is a technical word which is used for the sale of a car. And we will write £5,000 here. So you can see suspense account is being debited. Suspense account is being debited. And in the details, I have written disposal. The next part. Let's look at the next transaction. It says, a sale invoice to a customer, Anthony, for £300 was omitted totally from the books. Means it was not recorded at all. Therefore, we need to record it. So, assuming that this is the first time recording of the sales of 300, and the double entry for the credit sales is receivable ledger control account is or receivable ledger or debtor ledger control account is debited by 300 and the sale will be credited by 300. So debtor ledger control account are my total receivables 300 and the sales is credited by 300. Remember that we also have to update the subsidiary ledger of that customer, whose name is Anthony. So make a note over here, subsidiary Anthony to be debited by £300. So this is the note. Remember that subsidiary ledgers are not part of the double entry. They are just the breakdown of debtor ledger control account and creditor ledger control account. Moving on, so you can see there was no effect in the suspense account. So let's move on and find some more errors. I'm going to tick this because I have picked up this information. Second, it says a check of 450 was from Valley Brown was banked and correctly recorded, correctly entered into the cash book. So the cash book is okay. Normally when we receive money, we record it in the cash book, cash debit or bank debit. Now, no other corresponding entry was made for this receipt. So I'm going to write the double entry here. Number 3. Normally, as I said, when we receive cash, we record cash or bank debit. Bank debit and receivable is credit. And the amount is 450. But as I said that the bank is okay, Zoe recorded into the bank. That means we do not have to debit the bank account again. So instead of bank account, we need to replace it by suspense account. Suspense account. So now you can see suspense account is being debited and the receivables account will be credited. Instead of receivables, I can also write debtor ledger control account, just like over here. So let's go to our suspense account and debit it. So we'll debit the suspense account, and behind that I am going to write receivables. Instead of receivables, if you write debtor ledger control account, that is also correct. There is nothing wrong with that. Let's move on to the next error. It says the non-current asset motor vehicle was debited with £1,250 for motor repairs. Okay, now this type of error is called error of principle. Why? Because motor repair expense is an expense account and non-current asset is an asset account. So motor repairs, which is an expense, when expenses increase they are debit, and when assets increase they are also debit. So they are both debited, and the nature is different. One is an asset account, one is an expense account. So what we need to do is motor vehicle was debited with 104. Okay, so now we need to remove the balance from the non-current asset account and transfer that into the and remove non-current asset motor vehicle was debited with 12504 for motor repairs. So we need to remove the balance from the motor account, non-current asset account, and transfer that into the motor repairs account. Right, so let's pass a double entry. The double entry number 4 will be motor repair debit by 1250 and non-current asset is credited by 1250. So now both the accounts have been updated, and you can see there's no effect in going into the suspense account, because there were two accounts which were not updated, which needed rectification or correction. So suspense account will not be affected. If there is only one error, the other side is okay, and the error is on the credit side, then the suspense account will come in and we'll have to update the suspense account. Number 5. So no effect of this 1250 in the suspense account. The next error is sales was incorrectly posted to the ledger as 3450 and correctly posted into the sales control account as 3540. Okay, so that means the sales account is undercosted. Therefore, we need to increase the sales account balance. So when we increase the sales, it is always credited. So sales will be credited by £90. Where is the 90 coming from? It is 3540 minus 3450. The difference is £90. So this will be credited. And therefore, we need to debit something. Remember that the control account, debtor ledger control account, is okay. Look at transaction number 2. It's similar to transaction 2. So the debtor ledger control account is okay. So therefore, we will not touch the debtor ledger control account. And therefore, it will be replaced by the suspense account. As I said earlier, if the error is in one account, the other account will be suspense account. But if the error is in two accounts, we will just pass a double entry as we did in transaction number 4, and we rectified and updated both the accounts. So let's record this. Now you can see suspense account is being debited by £90, and I'm going to write 90 over here, and I'll write sales. So suspense account is being debited. Why? Because of the sales. Next transaction. Airfare costing £8,000 for Zoe's holiday to Osaka and Tokyo were charged to traveling. Okay, now Zoe's personal expense has been recorded as a traveling expense in the books, and that is not allowed. Therefore, we need to remove it from the traveling expense account and transfer that into drawings account. It's a personal expense. So let's record number 6. In transaction number 6, as you know that she recorded that in the traveling expense. So when traveling expense increase, they are debit. So now we need to remove it from the traveling expense account. Therefore, we will credit the traveling account. And the amount is £8,000. It should be debited into the drawings account. So you can see the effect was going into two accounts. Therefore, we did not have to open a suspense account. Next one. A page of purchase date book was undercosted by 7,980. So you know that when we prepare the purchase day book, it's a book of prime entry. This is the book in which we record the transactions initially. If there is an error in the purchase day book, the purchase ledger control account will be affected and the purchase account will be affected. That means if one of the invoices or one of the pages were missing in the purchase day book, that will affect my purchases account and purchase ledger control account. So let's update them. Transaction number 7. We will simply increase our purchases. by 7980 and increase our purchase ledger control account. Or in other words, you can call it creditors. So purchase ledger control account or creditors. So you can see two accounts were affected, therefore we did not have to open a suspense account, or we did not have to make any changes in the suspense account. Moving on to the next one. Rent paid for 1500 had been credited to the bank interest received account. Now again, this is an error of principle. Rent is an expense account, and when they increase, they are debited, whereas bank interest is an income account, and when there is an increase in income, it is credited. Now, interest received account was credited by £1,500. So what we need to do is we need to remove it from the interest received account. So because it was recorded on the credit side, we need to now debit the interest received account by £1,500. So let's record it. Number 8. Interest received account will be debited by £1,500. So what do we need to credit? We need to bring in the suspense account, and we'll credit the suspense account. So now let's go and update our suspense account. And in the suspense account, I will record 1500 and I will write interest received. Now, we should have recorded that in the rent account. So the rent account was not recorded. Rent was not updated. And therefore, we need to update it. It's an expense. Expenses increase. They are debited. So let's record it into the rent account. And therefore, we will pass a double entry of rent debit by £1,500, and the suspense will be credited by £1,500. Okay, so now let's go and update our suspense account and record 1500 on this side, and behind that I'm going to write rent. Now at the end, we will simply close the T account and both the sides are equal. That means we have identified the errors, we have rectified or corrected those errors. And remember that if we are the way I am updating the suspense account, at the same time I will be in real life, I will be updating my disposal account, my receivables account, my sales account, my interest received account, my rent account. I will be updating them as well. But we do not have them over here. That's why I did not show you those accounts. So finally, our suspense account is closed. So remember, we opened it and we rectified the errors, and now we are closing it. That's why we call it a temporary account. Thank you very much. I hope you will find this video useful.